Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Etech Leadership Table, a podcast where we invite you to pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and join us as we tackle some remarkable discussions on everything leadership, my favorite topic. I'm Melissa Wood, your host and Dean of Leadership Development at Etech Global Services. Our topic at the table today, you guys, I am excited about this topic, but not as excited as I am about the person sitting across the table from me. The topic is driving CX success by leveraging customer insights. I know it sounds like a smart topic, so for my smart podcasters, stay on because you're going to want to hear what is happening here. I have across from the table for me, you guys remember when you were growing up and you sat at the dinner table and you had some of the most robust discussions at the table? This is not going to disappoint. This is one of my personal friends. Actually, I just look up to her professionally more than she could ever know. But we have with us today our Etech's own Vice President of the Customer Experience, Shawndra Tobias. Welcome to the table, Shawndra.
Thank you, Melissa. It's good to see you, hear your voice, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, let me tell a little, there's so much to say about you, Shawndra. I know that you started in Etech in 2000, and you have just served in so many various roles, including the OSS reporting specialist, an account leader within our company. That's basically a leader of leaders, right? A project manager, a senior director of operations. Well, that was where you gained a ton of knowledge, I know, there in that operations stint that you pulled.
Absolutely.
And then the assistant vice president, and now your current role is the VP at Etech Insights Division. And just let me tell our listeners, basically the Etech Insights Division, it determines call center operational strategies by conducting needs assessments, performance reviews, capacity planning, cost benefit analysis. I can just keep going. Identifying, evaluating state-of-the-art technologies, defining user requirements, establishing technical specifications, and production. I told you guys, it's a robust conversation at the table. Productivity, quality, customer service standards. So if any of this is sounds familiar to you, this is the table you want to be sitting at. And then her team contributes information and analysis to organizational strategic plans and reviews. Additionally to all of that, you would think that plate would be full. But additional to all of those things, Shawndra and her team, they help call centers maintain and improve operations by monitoring performance, identifying and resolving problems, preparing and completing action plans, completing system audits, analysis, managing system and process improvement, quality assurance programs. They support organizational growth through our own personal, you guys have heard me talk about our own servant leadership philosophy. And honestly, what Shawndra does and her team does, it drives right back to our servant leadership philosophy, where they're serving our teams by providing us pretty much the intelligence we need to run effectively, and those for our clients that we serve as well. But she has served over 25 years in the contact experience. A third of that has been spent on reporting and analytics. I would probably go out on a limb to say that Shawndra is an expert in reporting and analytics. She received her professional certification of data science I told you she was smart, from Johns Hopkins University. She's a 3-star IBM recognized data expert. She has extensive project management experiences, and she applies the PMI philosophy. Kind of in your own words, tell me and just tell our listeners that are maybe kayaking listening to this, maybe walking and listening to this, just tell our listeners, describe for us your journey. How did you get here at this table on this leadership podcast? What got you here?
It all started many, many, many years ago as I was a young adult moving around the country trying to find my way in life. And I ended up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I found a really high-paying job at a call center. And all it required was that I talk to people. Well, I can talk to a wall. So they gave me a little script to follow. I got on the phones. I started talking to people, and I was pretty good at it. So in about 6 months, I got promoted into an entry-level management position. And at that time, the call center world, it was pretty rough. And getting promoted into a management position, you didn't necessarily get a raise. You just got off the phones. And I'm talking back in the day when you had to reach over and push the record button. So that's where it all started. But I learned very early on that I genuinely enjoyed the interaction with people. And whether that was with the people that I was talking to on the phones and really helping them solve problems, or the people that I worked with and helping them perform better and just enjoying work and having a good time while we're there taking care of customers. I learned early on that I had a deep passion for that, and I really enjoyed having that opportunity to just interact with people and make a positive impact on their day or on that product, on their impression of that product. So it was an easy industry for me to love. Unintentionally, kind of just stumbled into it like we do a lot of our great things in life. Fast forward to several years later, I've relocated back to East Texas, and here I am at Very Direct, this exciting new company in such a small town of Nacogdoches, Texas. Very Direct started out right there on the phone as an agent. Again, started right there as an agent. Again, getting to experience that day-to-day talking with people, solving problems. And I'll tell you, the first product I was selling at Very Direct, and it was so hot, DSL. I don't know if anybody remembers DSL, but people were dying to get this and get it as fast as they can. So the sales are really hot. It was a lot of fun and a lot of opportunity to really make a positive impact on customers and work with a lot of great people as well. And a lot of those great people I still work with, which is just a testament to the Etech culture in itself. Fast forward to a few years later, had an opportunity to join our reporting team. I had never really thought about what reporting encompassed in a whole, right? I understood the job was I was going to be working in Excel and doing like some data entry, which I thought was really super exciting because I loved working on computers. Okay, well, there's a start. You love working on computers, right? And from that point, of literally counting sales one by one, typing in a number on a spreadsheet, we built a reporting team just from that with myself and several other individuals. From that reporting team, we advanced that from being kind of that manual one-to-one count to automating, even in those early days of automation, automating a lot of those sales accounting processes. So we were faster, we were more agile, and we were more accurate. And that was always something that I've been passionate about as well. How can we do things more efficient? How can we be better? How can I do things more efficiently? How can I be better, right? That constant progression is what I'm looking for. So from there, over to call center leadership management, working with our call center leaders, part of that leadership team. Jumped from there to our program implementation team. I saw an opportunity there. I was like, man, if you can go work over in this department and start bringing onboarding new customers, there's really nothing about this organization you're not going to know at every level. And that was exactly it. I was able to serve Etech for 3 years working as a project management role, onboarding new clients and really helping them get a good, strong start at Etech and bridging that gap between I'm a new client and here I am operationally successful. From that point, I had the pleasure of working as a senior director of operations, running 4 of our call centers at the same time. And I will tell you, not one thing that I had done over the years prepared me more for the role I have today than running 4 call centers at the same time. Because I keenly understand, as our Vice President of Customer Experience, I keenly understand that customer experience, or CX, as you're going to hear Melissa and I refer to it today, that CX begins with the agent experience, period. That agent is your company in that moment with that customer that they are interacting with. And if we are not efficiently, effectively promoting a positive agent experience through learning, through accessibility, then we are going to struggle to fulfill a positive customer experience. And so I came into this role understanding that we've got to be agile. We've got to be fast to share information, and we've got to be effective coaches and effective sharers of that information when we get it. And every single day that I wake up and I step to my desk and I work as our VP of Customer Experience, those are my driving tenets. How can I make this information accessible and effectively usable to our call center agents. Did that kind of answer your question, Melissa, about how I got to where I am today?
Absolutely. I love your passion. That's why I'm so happy that you're taking the time today. And I wanted our listeners to understand that you just didn't walk into the CX world, right? And analytics, that it really took that growth journey for you. And that's what, our Matt Rocco, he really talks about our leadership is a journey, right? And he really, he set the stage and the foundation for us with our character and our character commitments. And I just watched you, even when you were talking to our listeners about growing personally and how you grew businesses and how you helped external clients on board with a strong start. And so what you do now is you not only help our internal clients, but our external clients get a strong start, but you help them maintain that strength. Absolutely. And so I wanted everybody to understand, our listeners to kind of understand a well-rounded view of like who you are personally, who you are professionally, and what got you here. And we're going to dive into the CX. And this, it's really a happening word. And I couldn't think of, you're a happening person. So you're supposed to be in the CX world. That's what I'm talking about. I had a few questions for you, and I really want to get your insights about it. I'm taking notes.
Okay.
And I'm taking notes too, and I hope our podcasters are. If you're running, just replay it 100 times, if you will. That's fine. That's fine. If you run like Shawndra, you just run for days and days and days. So I don't know if I could do that, but
you love the pain. The pain.
If you're like me, you just want to drink like 10 cups of coffee and re-listen to this, I encourage you to do so. But let's dive right into just a few questions. First question, Shawndra. Why is it important to track 100% of customer interactions? Back in the day, we didn't do that, right? Because I've been in this industry for over 7 years now, and we didn't track 100% of customer interactions. So you tell us, from a data analytics, from a CX perspective, why, Shawndra? Well,
right. We weren't analyzing and looking at 100% of interactions. We were dispositioning them, right? We were loading lead files. Okay, so we had a little bit of intel there, but we were not effectively and efficiently utilizing that information. Okay, now add in the world of today, when we have such tools as artificial intelligence powered speech analytics platforms, and we have the ability to utilize all of that information. Okay, so 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, we had disposition reports, lead file layouts, call center data such as agent activity kind of metrics. We could overlay those, and with a lot of effort, we could come up with an outcome about interactions. Okay, yeah. But it was best case scenario. Now we have the ability to utilize every single spoken word or written word, if we're talking about the chat world, every single word of that interaction. Therefore, you're able to utilize information much more effectively, and your microscope now expands. It becomes like the Hubble Space Telescope. You can see everything. So that's why it is important to track 100% of your customer interactions. It's about information utilization. You've already got it. It's already there. Use it.
You're right. We've had it. We just haven't been doing anything with it, right? Kind of, the way I feel.
We tried, right? We tried to do something with it.
Well, that's good. I thank you for that insight there. The second question I have for you, Shawndra, is how does customer insights impact the way you deliver customer experience?
That is a great question. Look, customers tell you what they need. It's right there. It's right there on every chat. It's right there on every call. They tell you what they need. You just need to listen to them, right? And so when you listen to your customers, you are going to be keenly aware of what their friction points are. You're also going to be keenly aware of their emotions when it comes to transactional points such as cost, uh, flexibility in terms and contracts, and product offerings. Okay, you've got all of that right there. When you're looking at those insights, you also understand the things that you're doing well. Okay, you can hear where customers are praising you. You can hear where customers are buying more. You can hear what customers are asking about before you even offer it, right? You really have insight into not only what's going on with the customer today, but what is the future? What are they thinking about purchasing in the future? What indicators are there in regards to customer strength, spend level, and things of that nature? And then again, I go back to what I said earlier. We have now all the information needed through customer insights to impact a positive agent experience and empower our agents to really take care of our customers as they should.
Yeah, that, your answer to that, I used to think CX was a fascinating topic, and, it was intriguing to me. But, just sitting across the table from you, it's really critical for any agent perform. If you were to roll back, 25 years and be an agent, man, could you imagine what you could have done with this information? What kind of
absolutely,
yeah. So when we think about the next question, just talks about, I know you've had over 25 years in the customer journey. What have been, your observations on primary roadblocks in the customer life cycle?
That is a great question. Okay. We think, okay, we hear this all the time. Companies think they are really doing customers a favor, and they're really making it a lot easier on their customers by being very inclusive. Okay. And we hear that comes across as bundling, things of that nature, right? Because companies are seeing the need to be a one-stop shop, because the more products that you sell a particular customer and you stack or you bundle, the more likely the studies show us that customer is to stay with you. However, you have got to be cognizant of friction points in that transactional process. This, in my opinion, and based on what we see daily in our analytics, multiple systems, transfers, delays, failure to deliver, site visits. We have got to make it easy for customers to spend money with us. I mean, that's just a fact. You've got to make it easy. There is no customer loyalty in a diverse market. Okay, you're probably offering the same product 5 or 6 other people are easily, right? When companies see convenience in bundled or stacked products, and this is just one example, okay? Companies see convenience in that. They see retention in that. They bank on retaining based on things such as bundles or stacked products. But if your customer is having to spend an hour on the phone with multiple transfers to discuss one component of that bundle or that stacked offering, then where is the value? And at that point, it becomes a huge detractor to customer experience. And so having very friction-driven internal processes around communication within that transactional process, whether that's the initial transaction or follow-ups to that transaction, getting assistance and technical support, that is the number one, key dissatisfier to customers, really. And it is probably the number one driver of churn. It's just pure friction in transaction.
Yeah, that was my follow-up to that is we talk about past behavior, predict future behavior.
Yep.
What would you say is the key behavior or the early indicator that impedes the outcome like churn?
Oh, it has to be multiple interactions, multiple customer-driven interactions. That customer having to be the catalyst of communication, especially in a distressing situation, billing issues, technical issues, things of that nature. That's the number one right there.
That's a good point. All right. Well, this is kind of wrapping up here. Tell me about intent and emotion in a customer's conversation, the sentiment analysis, and how understanding it helps in changing the way one delivers the CX.
Absolutely. We talked about information utilization earlier. Okay.
Right.
How many times have you been on a phone call with, whatever provider is providing you a service and they say, please stay on the line after the call for a survey? That customer's already going to tell you everything you need to know before they get to the survey, okay? And they're going to tell you that with emotion. That's going to indicate how they really feel. It's not going to be a 1 to 5 scale, right? So understanding customer sentiment as emotion analyzed via content is the most accurate sentiment gauge, period. That is the most accurate gauge. Now, it takes a lot of engineering, a lot of smart people working within the systems that we use to ensure that content and context is properly defined. There are 370 synonyms for the word good. We have to make sure that our artificial intelligence engines understand every possibility and usage of that word in the context that it applies to that particular transaction, right? But once you do that, once you have that level of expertise and you have that level of capability through artificial intelligence, then you can understand those micro events that really define the overall experience. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. I think, that customer sentiment, I watched you and Jim Ayub recently in Nashville just get up and basically just make CX come to life, right? And I saw the most engagement when you start talking about customer sentiment. And the way you guys, if you guys haven't seen Jim and Shawndra in action at some of these CCW events or anything like that, just the conversation around customer sentiment, just like you did today, it's a game changer. It's just bottom line, it's a game changer. And so I thank you for joining us today. I thank you for just your commitment to growth, Shawndra. Everybody, in our professional career, we want to grow personally. We want to grow professionally. So I just thank you for joining us today. And I want to leave you with a little something. All right?
Okay. All right.
So your pen and paper, but when we talk about grow, GROW, right? We want to grow from our intelligence level, because there's so much, so much about CX now. Imagine what you're going to know at the end of, this year, 2022, right? Imagine what you're going to know in for 25 more years. So, that professionally, what personally. I know you and I've had many discussions about how we've grown personally over the years. So if you think about that word grow, GROW, and if our podcasters are taking notes, G, this is how you do it. G, you gain knowledge. That's what the G stands for. You gain knowledge about yourself, others, the industry, the leadership, and you've seen Shawndra demonstrate that today. You gain knowledge about all those different things. This will help you to grow. The R, you reach out to others. If you want to grow, you've got to reach out to others. And this is something I've seen Shawndra do. And she and I will FaceTime quite often. I've seen her pick up the phone and call people. But you reach out formally and you reach out informally, right? And that's how you grow. You G, gain knowledge. R, you reach out to others. O, let's get them going. Open your world. What do you mean by that, Melissa? Well, you've got to open your world at work and outside of work, right? You've really got to open your world. Look, you do the We Rescue. The We Rescue. That opens your world outside of work. And then you open your world at work, and sometimes we only communicate with the same people every day. But in the CX world, we kind of need to reach out to people we don't know outside of work, even internal customers, external customers. So I just challenge you to keep that open your world up.
Thank you, Melissa. Yes.
Last but not least, and we'll finish on this, is the W in grow. Walk toward wisdom. John Hopkins did not call you and beg you to come to school.
No,
you walked toward that wisdom. And there's going to be other things you're going to walk in, and our podcasters are going to walk in throughout the year. So you need to walk toward wisdom if you're wanting to grow. You need to do some self-evaluation on, hey, what do I want to learn? What am I good at? What am I not so good at? What do I need to get better at? You need to seek feedback and you need to give wisdom in your feedback, seek counsel, and just take some time for yourself. Just some quiet. And just, so that you can gain that wisdom. So Shawndra, I thank you for taking some of your time today. I know that your time is precious, just like all of our podcasters listening. I thank you guys for listening to our podcast today on our very big table topic of CX and leveraging customer insights. If you guys have any more questions about this amazing CX experience, please reach out to Shawndra. Her information will be included in the podcast. And I just challenge you guys to grow, gain your knowledge, reach out to others, open your world, and walk in wisdom. Thank you for your time today.